Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Welcome to my craft closet. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you how I make my little stamp pads. I use Stampin' Up! Ink, and I really love their ink. I know that other companies have little mini ink pads, but Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry them. So since it's my favorite ink, I had to figure out a way to make something smaller so that I can use my stamp positioner that I showed you how to make, and so I wouldn't get my little spongy feet all full of ink. So let's get started. This is one that I made in the color Pear Pizzazz, and it's working pretty good. I've tested it out, and I used the Pear Pizzazz ink, and as you can see, look how big the stamp pads are. So let me do another one, and I think this time I'm going to do this one in Wisteria Wonder, and I have my ink, my re-inker here. So once again, we're going to take advantage of these little spongies. Okay, and once again we're going to take advantage of our little foam pads. This is just a thin foam pad with adhesive backing. And so what you're going to need to do is get yourself some of these little gem boxes. Okay, now these can be found at realgrand.com, and they're called white plastic gem boxes. I think I can give you a link at the bottom of the video. But this is how I got them, and I actually got these from Fire Mountain Gems. They're a different color, but they're pretty much the same thing. So what you do is when you take one of these boxes and open it, there's this real, lightweight spongy thing. You're really not going to use this because it's not that absorbent, and you end up making a big mess. So, but this is actually good for measuring when you go to measure one of your squares that you're going to need from your foam pad, and also the square that you're going to need from your sponge makeup pad. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut it right like this. Okay. Okay, now I've got a square sponge. Put that away, and I already cut a square from this foam pad. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the adhesive, peel that adhesive sheet off of it, or that layer sheet, and then I'm going to just put the adhesive on right there. Okay, so now it's stuck together, and you just need that just for height. It's not going to absorb, or if it does, it's going to put it back in the sponge because this isn't really very absorbent. So to hold this in the little box, what I used was a glue dot, just one little glue dot right in the center. And let me take my piercing tool, get this out of here. Okay. And then I just stick it right here in the center, and I'll use the back of my piercing tool just to make sure that it's going to stick in there, and it's good. Okay, now I'm going to add my ink. Okay, let me take this out of the way. I don't think you have to shake the bottle, but I just have that habit of shaking the bottle. Let's see, this is the first time I've used this Wisteria. Now I am going to add kind of a generous amount. Let it bead up on the top, and it'll sink right in. I think that'll be good enough. Now to get it to sink in a little better, take I just cut up a credit card here, and I am just going to just work that in. Make sure that it's all the way absorbed everywhere in this pad. Okay, here we go. Well, it's in there. It is suspended in there, actually. So you just want to make sure you get as much of that ink in there as you can. Okay, now let's test it. All right, I have this stamp here. I'm just going to... Okay. And I will do some testing. Well, it's a little light, so I'm going to add a little bit more color, a little bit more ink. I'm not in camera. And let's take that and just make sure that it gets in there really good. Okay. And now, let's try that again. You can always add more ink. Let's see. Well, it's a very sharp image. It's very nice, but what I like to do to compare to make sure that it's I'm putting enough ink in that pad is I will just ink up and compare. Now see, it's just a little bit darker, so I can still add more ink, but if I want to and I like that lighter shade, then I'll just leave it alone, and which is what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay. Now, to mark it, just use a Sharpie pen. This one is called Wisteria Wonder. I don't know how to spell wisteria. Oh, I'll do that later. Anyway, I hope you try this. It's very inexpensive. In fact, you can get about 30 of these from Rio Grande for about 18 something. Altogether with shipping, it was under $25. So I'm getting more so that I can make sure I have a stamp pad for every ink that I buy from Stampin' Up. And hopefully Stampin' Up will get on board with the smaller ink pads, so that, you know, we can take advantage of the smaller ink pads. But I love this ink, so Stampin' Up, if you're listening, please make your ink pad small. Thank you for joining me today. Once again, I'm Jeanette with Geomazing Paper Crafts. You make it a great day. Bye-bye.